So what I want to go over is air fresheners, okay? We're going to go over a lot of different products, but today we're just going to go over air fresheners. I think it's like 5 or 6 on that listing. There you go, 5. All right. So on air fresheners, you really have 3 different options. So the first option is going to be oil-based, and that is going to be the strongest version that they can get. Okay, and I know you have no clue, so I'll really break this down very simply. Oil-based strong, meaning they just grab it out of the container that we sell, and then they pour it off into bottles. They don't put any solvent, they don't cut it, they don't anything. All they do is grab our fragrance, pour it off into bottles, stick a label on it, and then sell it. So that's oil-based and the strongest version that they can get. All right, the next version is they grab this oil-based version and they cut it. And they can cut it with several different things. DPG usually doesn't work. You'll hear DPG a lot, it's dipropylene glycol. It's kind of a thicker solvent. Yeah, no, even that, you're like, whatever.
I like DPG.
You'll hear DPG a lot from guys because they have easy access to it. They can buy it from so many different commodity vendors, and they use it for incense and body oils and all these other products, so you'll hear DPG a lot. That's almost like, that's like street water, right? That's what they can get everywhere. They'll cut this fragrance with something, and the biggest problem they run into is it won't go through the sprayer. So you want the sprayer to be a nice fine mist, right? If they're using the wrong solvent with the fragrance, it'll come out in just like a stream or splotchy, where it'll be 3 or 4 big drops, and customers don't like that. They like a nice thin mist that kind of covers the room. So usually you'll find out that they're cutting it with something they're not supposed to be, and that's what's causing the problems. The third is going to be water-based. Okay, water-based means they're grabbing our oil-based fragrance and cutting it and then adding water. So let me give you the breakdown on that, because I know that's something that you're not going to be familiar with. So you grab 30% fragrance, which is the oil, and then they cut it 70% with a surfactant. And I know you have no clue what a surfactant is either. A surfactant basically is a chemical that makes anything oil-based become water-soluble. So you could grab an oil-based fragrance. If you mix it directly with water, it just separates. So you'll look at it and you'll have one layer on top, which is oil, one layer on bottom, which is water. When you add a surfactant, it actually makes the oil go into the water, and now the product will be crystal clear. There's several different surfactants they can use.
So the surfactant allows it to mix.
Correct. It's a solubilizer. That's exactly what it is. So now what they do with this mix, you know, they have 100% mix, which is only holding 30% fragrance, and then they'll usually cut that 50-50 with water. Okay, so out of this mix, they really only have 15% fragrance, and the rest is theoretically cut. So that's why this isn't going to be that strong, because they had to cut it once to make a mix, to make it water soluble. Then they mix that with water, and now they only have 15% fragrance. You follow me on the math?
They have to add the other water?
Yeah. The reason why they're adding the surfactant is so that they can add the water. So when you ever see a carpet refresher or clothing refresher or room sprays that you can spray all over like your furniture and stuff like that, it's going to be at this load. It could be even less. Because what they figure is you're going to spray it, but you don't want it overbearing and you don't want it to stain. This can stain because it's oil-based. So if you're looking for a very versatile product that you can spray on absolutely everything and not have problems, they use this. So like bigger companies, 50 to 75% are water-based that you see on the market. The guys that have like Blunt Power and Chronic Killer and all those other ones really, really super strong, those are the ones that are oil-based.
So like Glade would be more like the water-based?
A Glade would be more water-based, home products, put it on anything. Super strong, want my car to smell for 3 weeks, oil-based. That's a big difference. All right, now why would you cut a super strong fragrance? Money. Let's say this fragrance is, $10 a pound. Well, if they're looking at it saying, oh, well, I'm only selling it for $1 or maybe $2, they're going to try to cut the fragrance back to lower the cost. Where these guys are buying in totes, so they may be paying only $6 a pound, and they can sell a better product cheaper than someone who's trying to start out. So usually they screw up, they start out, they cut the fragrance, everybody smells it and goes, it's weak, it's not really that strong, I'd rather get the really strong stuff, and then they lose the business. So that's usually how the air fresheners work. Strongest though, oil-based. Second strongest when they cut it, we do not. That's cutting on their end. And water-soluble, water-based. Weakest. So whenever they're talking to you on the phone, if they want an air freshener and they want the strongest air freshener, you can look on our website, you can look up air freshener and tell them you can buy the fragrance directly from us, pour it directly in the bottle, and you're good to go. If they say, well, I want to cut it, we sell an air freshener base that they can cut it with. And the air freshener base is $6, $7 a pound, something like that. So it can almost cut their price in half, but again, they're cutting the fragrance, so it's going to make it weaker. All right, so you completely not being from the industry, does that make any sense?
And, more than I thought it would.
Okay. Air fresheners, the only job that they have is to smell good. That's it. So someone's gym locker reeks, their laundry room stinks, their bathroom, whatever. They just want a masking fragrance and they just want to spray something that makes it smell better. That's all air fresheners do. So they're not actually doing anything. They're not like counter reactants or odor counter reactants. They're not like encapsulating anything. All they do is masking it. So that's why when they say air freshener, it could be anything. I mean, any fragrance that we have theoretically could be made into an air freshener. If you want your bathroom to smell like carrot cake or, whatever, we can do it. So air fresheners are kind of wide open as far as the product line. Okay. Usually with air fresheners, they're starting out small, so they're only selling, let's say they'll buy a 10-pounder. So they buy a 10-pounder of the fragrance. But all they have to do is get 1 or 2 big accounts, like let's say they go to a trade show and they get in Quick Trip or Racetrack or VP Racing or any of those guys. Now all of a sudden they're selling millions of units. So you'll see them go from like 10, 25 pounds to a tote. It just depends how their marketing side is.